Only time left.
Good evening, everyone. Wonderful to have you guys out today. On behalf of the family, we want to thank you for coming out and spending some time here with them as we honor Christina. As we were sitting and talking the other day, and we were talking about the service and all that, one of the things Deborah said to me was, we don't want it to be a sad thing, we want it to be a celebration of her life. And I think that's, how we're going to be looking at this service. This isn't a sad day. This is a day that, hey, she's with the Lord, and we get to celebrate the life that she lived here on earth. And one of the things that stood out to me as we were sitting there talking, and at first I didn't get it, my wife had to tell me that, make sure because I'm kind of slow sometimes at things, is Deborah looks over at Melvin and she goes, Melvin, you can't leave the street unless you're wrapped in bubble wrap from here on out. So I thought that was cute. I was like, I want to share that today with you guys. That's just, as I've been with the family, as I've been there, yes, there's been tears, yes, they've been sad, but they know, hey, God has a plan, He has a purpose through it all. And so it's encouraging to see them as they've gone through this time and with this past week as we've been discussing and talking. Let's open in a word of prayer and then we'll get into our service today. Dear Lord, we come before you thanking you for the many blessings we have within our life. There's so many times we don't take time to thank you for those blessings. And we just want to come before you today saying thank you. Thank you for each and every day that you've allowed us to live, dear Lord. Help us to live our lives in a way that would glorify you with everything that we say and do, dear Lord. Be with the families as we go through this service today. Just comfort them, give them the strength. Thank you for the heart that I've seen this week from them, the rejoicing, even though they're sad, even though they don't want this to happen, but they're rejoicing with you, dear Lord. Thank you for that spirit. Be with this service. Let everything that's said and done be honoring and glorifying to you. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. Amen. As we open up the service today, as we were talking, one of the things the family wanted was a time to where people could come and share if they so felt, if they wanted to come and talk about Christina and share throughout this time. So we're going to open up the floor for anyone that would like to come up and talk at this time. All right? Do we have anybody that would like to start? You want to start already?
I think they're shaking down.
I think he can do it.
That's all we could.
All right.
My mom was like, she was going through a lot before everything, and I'm very proud of her. Like this last year, she's been here, like she's gotten way better. She was finally confident in herself, and she was finally being able to do the things that we've always wanted her to do. She was like going to school again for her GED. She was like looking for jobs and trying to get herself together. She finally had her own house, and she was finally able to be the person she's always wanted to be. So I'm very proud how she left, how she like got herself together before she left, and I'm glad about that. And it's easier for me because she gets to be with Dad now, and she gets to be with Christian and stuff. So I am proud that she finally gets what she needs, and I know she'll be a lot happier there than she was here. So I am proud of her.
Can't believe I'm up here with her shaking. So I'll just share. I really didn't agree with Christina on a lot of different things, and we clashed a lot. But we did find a lot of common ground in places, and most of those places revolved around humor and basically us digging in on each other when we could. You know, she was a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and I just don't know why you would ever want to be something like that. As a Buffalo Bills fan, I had to let her know that she was just choosing the wrong way. She was always up for that kind of a conversation, and she'd like to laugh a lot. If you had a joke, she would tell it, and she would always be one to share one if she had it back. And from what I saw at the end, it seemed like she was progressing better in her life. It seemed like she was on her way back to where good things can happen from the bad. I had a horrible beginning in my life, and now it's starting to resemble something that I'm proud to tell somebody about. And I always hoped that for her, even though she would let me down sometimes. But I did hope for her. And that's what I remember about her most. She would stick on to a value even though you could tell her it was wrong. If she was down for that, there was no change in her mind. She was very committed to what she had. And that's a good value to have in these days. Hopefully to use it to the right effect and to the right cause. But that's for us just to decide. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to share? All right, to close out this time, Melvin, her brother, would like to come up and say some words about Christina during this time.
You'll have to bear with me for a minute. I'm not really good with speeches and all that. I think all day today I was really just sitting in the living room, just really struggling to figure out what my sister would want me to say, because I was just saying, Christina, they don't want to hear from me, they want to hear from you. And they don't want to hear about how much I miss you, they want to hear how much you're not in pain anymore. And I think that's where I kind of get some comfort in. She was in a lot of pain, her health was just not good. And we had a scare a couple years ago where, she was on life support, and she was, the kids and everybody said she was really finally starting to turn around, and she was. And she was losing weight, and I think she told me I was complimenting on her one day a couple weeks back, and I was like, wow, Tina, you really lost some weight. I said, how much weight have you lost? And she said, well, I'm a man down, I got another man to go. My mom would always express some kind of regret, because when the kids were still babies, of course, how grandmas and grandparents in general like to do. They like to spoil the kids and send them back to their moms. Well, now my mom's got both of them, and she don't even know what to do now. So, Mom, we got good kids. They're definitely great kids, but I'm definitely praying for you. And I remember when the kids were, speaking of that, I just remember when they were little, if the kids were on punishment, as long as Uncle Melvin came over, they weren't on punishment anymore. I mean, wrestling around on the trampoline and all that, and she'd be like, Melvin, stop! I'm like, relax, they're fine. Next thing you know, you'd be hearing one of them crying the next minute. And so my sister didn't have to just worry about her kids, she had to worry about Uncle Melvin, because I was her little brother. I'm supposed to, isn't that how it works? You're supposed to terrorize your older sister for the rest of your life. And I think I did a pretty good job of doing that. Well, yeah. Then I'm thinking too, 9 years ago, and we had, and I know a lot of you know this, and I've said this 1,000 times, but we had to bury my younger brother as well, Travis, and that was still a loss I never really got over, and I don't think you ever really get over the loss to anybody who's close to you. But I remember when I had to come up here and give his eulogy, and she was standing right next to me, and it's hard, and it's hard when you have two siblings you grow up with, arguing and fighting, but making sure nobody else messed with them, and they're not here anymore. But I know they're in a better place. They're probably both up there arguing and picking on each other right now. And all I'm going to say is just wait till I get up there. And again, I just want to thank you all for coming out. Thank you to my friends and my family, to my coworkers. A few of them were able to make it tonight, and I really am grateful. And I love you guys. I love you, miss you, Christina, and I'll see you someday soon.
Thank you, Melvin. I'm sure that's not easy at all, but you did a wonderful job, man. You did an awesome job. As we were thinking about songs, and we were talking about these songs throughout the week and everything, and we were talking about what would be songs that we would want to hear? What were things that Christina would want to hear? What are those type of things? And one of the songs that came up is the one that we're going to play here in just a minute. And as we were thinking about it and all that, we thought about having somebody sing it. We thought about different things. And Deborah goes, can we just play the video? I love the words to it. I want people to be able to see the words as we do it. And so as we play this video, as you see it, listen to the words, read the words as they come across the screen. Think of those times that you had with Christina. Think of those moments that you had. Think of the good times. As I've encouraged the family throughout the week, hey, look at the exciting times that you have. Remember those pleasant memories that you have, those good times, right? The goofy times, the fun times. Remember those. Those are the memories that you have with you. And so as this song plays, think about those times that you met her, the time that maybe you hung out with her. Think of those times here.
Tell me what does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? Have your fears and your pain gone away? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky. I hope you're sailing in the angels' choir. I hope the angels know what they have. I'll bet some nights of heaven since you arrived. So tell me, what do you do up in heaven? Are your days filled with love and light? Is there music? Is there art and invention? Tell me, are you happy? Are you more alive? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness.
Deborah asked me, when she called and she goes, Justin, would you do the service for us? For those of you that don't know me, I'm the youth pastor here at the church. And so when she asked me that, I was like, what is she thinking? Right? I know Nathan, I know Ariana. I've gotten to know them over the last couple of years. And I'm always excited to be around them. I'm always, it's good to be around them and having them. And I'm thinking, what is she thinking? I'm the goofy guy that's in the back, normally goofing around, messing with the kids. And so that's just my area. That's what I enjoy. And so when she asked me, I was like, I don't know what she's thinking right now. So I was like, are you sure? You sure about that? Are you sure that's what you want to do? And so she said, yes, that's what, we'd really be honored if you would do it. And I told her, I was like, I definitely would love to do it. I have to say, I didn't get to know Christina very much. I met her a couple times here and there. I've not been here very long, and so I hadn't really got to know her a whole lot. But I've got to know her family, and I love the family, and I love, if she was anything like them, she was an awesome person. And so as we were thinking about that, and before we get into the service time of it, Deborah asked me to read the obituary for Christina. Christina Gillikin was 35. She died in her own on August 31st of 2017, unexpectedly in Chesapeake. She was preceded in death by her brother Travis and survived by her brother Melvin Carroll. Her parents, Melvin Carroll Jr. and Deborah Sarr, her stepdad Tom Sarr, and special extended family David and Mary Paul. 5 children, Ariana, Nathan, Jason, Justin, and Tiana. Grandparents, Tommy and Pat Herring, and Don and Carol Gillikin, are all in great mourning, but are rest assured that she is in the hands of our Savior, Jesus Christ. And as I got to sit down and I got to talk with the family this week, that was one of the questions I asked them. I said, well, how do you know that she's in heaven today? How do you have that assurance? And they were able to go back to a certain time in her life, back in June of 2008. And they remembered at a time where Pastor Hal Jones was there, and he was able to lead her to the Lord. And she made the greatest decision that she'll ever make here on earth. And so as we were talking about it, that gives you some assurance. As a believer, as a Christian, that's something that you can hang your hat on, because it says in God's Word that, hey, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. And when we lose those special people in our life, and we know that they're a Christian, that's something to be excited about. Because they're no longer in pain, they're no longer suffering. Now they're in a perfect body in a perfect place. It's a great thing to think about. And so as we think about Christina today, as we think about those things, think about those good times. And so as I was thinking, well, what am I going to preach on? What am I going to talk about? The passage that came to me is one that I'm sure everybody in this room has probably heard at some point. It's a very familiar passage, but it's one that can give a lot of comfort, a lot of assurance as we read through it. And that's in Psalm 23. Psalm 23, and I can tell by some of your faces, hey, I know that one. That's a good one. And so we're going to read it, and we're going to talk about it a little bit today.